African corporates, they want to engage in innovation, but there's a lot of trust issues with founders, and they feel that, startups don't have enough understanding of regulation and et cetera, and by default, as a founder, you have this trust deficit that you need to really build for. So the reason why we started 54 Collective is to bridge the gap between what's available in terms of assets, but also innovation coming out of startups, to bridge the two, to find ways to enable scale and growth to build the African economy. 54 Collective is a VC firm, actually one of the top leading firms in Africa. We started in 2018. We are in 3 countries, in South Africa, Kenya, and we're in Nigeria. So those 3 areas gives us a really good geographical span and being a Pan-African VC company. Most of African countries, they're driven at least 40 to 60% of their market through agri-tech, right? There's a lot of export that we're doing. So it's natural for an investor to think about agri-tech as one of the major contributors to the GDP across major markets in Africa. So that in itself makes it quite important for us to focus on agri-tech and finding efficiencies and innovation to support smallholder farmers, to bridge the gap between the produce and delivering to market. And of course, at the end of the day, figuring out how we can export more outside of the continent through efficiencies that technology can bring. On an infrastructure challenge, as an entrepreneur, you need to think about what are the things that I should be doing to be able to close the gap. The problem that we are seeing is that most entrepreneurs come into that space and now they try to solve everything. And because of that trying to solve everything, that becomes a challenge for them to grow quickly. We have started to see as a change in the infrastructure side is, if you look at the capital now starting to come into agri-tech space, that is allowing a lot more entrepreneurs to innovate and closing the gaps of the value chain, so that if you are seeing a specific problem, you can work with other players to be able to deliver just your service in the entire value chain, so that you don't struggle with trying to figure out how are you going to close the gap across that entire value chain. So we're seeing quite a lot of activities in that space to solve those problems. What we know is whatever that the learning that we're going to be collecting as we support entrepreneurs, that's where we want to be. Consistently becoming a best partner to founders with the evolution and the dynamics of the market, to be able to provide the needs of entrepreneurs. The data that we have learned over the last 3 years gave us insights on how we better prepare ourselves to support entrepreneurs with these market dynamics that are shifting every time in our economy. So we work with those with data to figure out where we should be, to innovate, to be best structured to support entrepreneurs.